So, good morning, students. Today we discuss about economic thoughts in modern India. So, the economics thought in modern India is very important. Most of the Indian fighters gave some ideas and suggestions in related to the economic development of our country. So, in the earlier chapters, we discussed so many things. The first chapter we discussed the history of economics thought, the significance and ideas, and many economists gave some suggestions. The second chapter, the various economists gave related to the value of distributions, the labor theory values, so etc. The third one is socialism, the role of socialism, different socialisms, the syndicalism and Bobbian socialism, guild socialism, Christian socialism, everything. So the fourth chapter discusses historical school, classical school, and Australian school. So in the fifth chapters we discuss only for the Indian economists. So Indian freedom fighters thoughts. So in this chapter we shall study about the economic thought during modern times. During the later of the 19th century, the economics and social life of the country underwent for the reaching changes under the impact of social life of the country. British administration and English education thinking on economic matters was largely influenced by a revolt against the British rule in India. There were several factors which influenced the economic thought of educated Indians in those days and also economic growth. First, let us explain factor influencing the 19th century economic growth. The growing poverties. The British administration in India deliberately adopting a policy of exploitations and repressions which due to the existence of the village self-sufficiency. It evaluated a system of English education which aimed at creating subordinate officials and clerks to assess the British administrations. The trade and commerce policies of the British ruler in India and aimed at the enrich England, improving Indian economics. So, of the revenue collected in India, the British government was remittance one-fourth to England as home charge apart from the several million and rupee sent to England as private remittance. In India, the per capita income was rupees 2 when it was 48 in other colonial of the emperor. India was the only colony of the British emperor which presented a sense of misery and poverty and the frequent feminism. The policy of free trade resulted in the import of many foreign goods. This led to Indian industries, railways were extended to all parts of the country, which helped the distribution of the foreign goods from one corner to another corner and facilitated the export of raw materials. The export of this development was the India and became the poorer and poorer every day. So in the modern periods, our countries below poverty lines. Most of the people don't have any basic needs because we are under the rule of British. The rise of the national Indian nationalization. nationalism. So the rise of Indian nationalism is one of the main importance. The growing poverty of the Indian people and the spread of educations in the country led people to think that was something a fundamental wrong with the economic and political setup of the country. This resulted in growing of the national consciousness in the country and also establishment of the Indian National Congress. The Indian leaders observed that the cause of poverty was the British rule in India and therefore by consider freedom from colonial rules as the most essential. The view of Indian leaders at the time were politico-economic rather than purely economics. The last one, miscellaneous factors, transport, communications, and English educations created more contact. With the Western world and education, Indian, particularly intellectuals, draw inspirations from the ideas of liberty, equality, and the Westerns. Further, Indian thinkers were able to analyze and interpret the data to analyze solution to economics. Ills the country and they became the mature enough to pinpoint the defects of the policies adopted by the British rule in India. Most of the freedom fighters have to remove the cause of poverty. So that is a pinpoint of the Indian leaders should be followed in the Indian nationalizations. So in the earliest struggle for independence, witnessed four important thinkers, namely Dadabhai Nauraj, Ranade, Dutt, and Gokhale. The four members were the witness for important thinkers, the modern Indian economic thought. First, let us explain Dadabhai Nauraj. Dadabhai Nauraj was born on September 4, 1825 and came from a distinct Parsi family of Bombay. He was the first Indian to be appointed as professor at Elphinstone College, the first Indian to occupy a seat in the Parliament of England and the first Indian to be the member of Royal Commission. He is also known as the Grand Old Man of India and was the President of the Congress in 1886, in 1893 and 1906. His most important book is Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, from which most of his economic ideas can be derived. So the Dadabhai Nauraj is the earliest stage of his history. Is very good freedom fighters in Indian economics. He gave some ideas to improving the economic development of our countries. He is the first freedom fighters of Indian economics. So Dadabhai Nauraj gave some economic ideas. What are the ideas gave to the national, the modern economic thoughts? So India and England should pay all the salaries to their people within their own boundaries. As record the Englishman employed in India and the Indian employed in England, there should be some fair and reasonable appointment between the two countries. Second one, as reasonable salaries were paid to Englishmen, while they serve in Indian, no pension should be paid to them. So the Englishman, the French people cannot pay any pension to the Indian people because under the control of British. The last point, as no European power was going to involve India from the sea and as well as advantages went to English and the Englishman. India should not be charged any portion of the expenditures incurred on the maintenance of the Indian Navy. So Nowruz was very critical of the British administrations in India. He declared that the British rule was Greece's, according to him, the wonder on the body of Indian. By earlier, the British administrations, the former rulers were like butchers, hacking here and there are but the English. With their scientific cut to the very heart, there is no wonder to be seen, and soon the pleasant thing, high talk of civilization, progress, and what not covers by the wanderings. So, next point, national income of India. Navroj was the first Indian to calculate the national income of the India and the share of the various groups. He stressed on the need for calculating national income on a realistic basis. On the basis of official figures, he calculated the per capita income for the Bombay Presidency during the year 1867 to 870 at rupees 20. He calculated that the requirements for meeting the bar needs of any ordinary Indian was about rupees 34, and hence he concluded that even for providing for such food and clothing which was given to clear the criminal, the production even of a good season was not adequate. Since the rich and the middle class got a much large share, the poor masses did not even get enough for fulfilling their basic needs. Nowruz has equally appropriate the value of agricultural produce and manufactures among all the people without taking care of the actual number of persons employed in agriculture, industries, other professional, etc. Though the method adopted by Nowruz was criticized by F.S.C. Danvers and employed on Indian office, Dr. V.K.R.B. Rao has supported the method adopted by Nowruz and has paid a great tribute to him as a statistician. Nowruz's thinking was full of dynamism. He had propounded the drain theory. He was a statistician who calculated national income of India. He is really the father of national Indian nationalism. So the Nowruz is a important economic ideas gave to development of the freedom in India. He first calculated in national income of our Indian national income. So M.K. Gandhi, the second world freedom fighter is M.K. Gandhi. So M.K. means Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. His period 1869 to 1948. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born in Porbandar in Gujarat on October 2nd in 1869. After his earlier education, he went to England in 1887 for his education in law. In 1891, he set up legal practice in Bombay. When he had been South Africa, he returned great service to the causes of racial equality. When he returned to India, he started his struggle against British imperialism. When Gandhi entered the political sense, the national movement was gaining strength and movement, but he gave an entirely new shape and direction to the movement. His concept of resistance was based on non-violence and non-cooperation. This has come to be known as Satyagraha. His struggle against British imperialism can be put under three categories. First one, the non-cooperative movement of 1921. The second one, civil disobedience of salt satyagraha of 1930-31. And third one, Quiet India movement of 1942. Even after attaining independence in 1947, he had to fight against communalism, untouchability, and other social ills. The other social ills for the Gandhian, the national, the nation, Gandhi's Satyagraha and total serving were very well known to the people of India. It was the original and genuine Satyagraha that achieved the objectives behind noble causes. But nowadays, these have been very important for Indian Congress. Gandhi was shot dead on January 3rd, 1948. So Gandhi's economics ideas. Gandhi did not believe in any definite schemes of thought. To him, economics was part of a way of life and hence his economics ideas a part of his general philosophy of life. He did not believe in economics without ethics. Economics without ethics was considered like a body without soul. So without soul cannot living in the people in the country. So his economics ideas are based on the four cardinal principles: vice, truth. First one is the truth. Second one is the non-violence. Third one is the dignity of labor and simplicities. As a matter of fact, these four are the fundamental of Hindu religions and philosophy. Gandhi was a practical idealist. Thank you, students. Today is over the class. Tomorrow we will discuss about the same topics. Thank you. Students patiently listening for this class. Very good. Today, 22 members only attend this class. So you have your total strength is 52 students. So please try to join this Google Meet in history of economics thought. Thank you, students. Thank you, one and all.